side by side. I've had a bit of a correction, which means I'm round wide. I'm probably going to be behind them, but are we side by side? We're still side by side, right through the last section of Club, and we're going to be down side by side down the Hamilton Straight. Who's going to go for the line first?
So remember, Will, either a nice clean race, so we haven't got much to do when you get back in, or total it. All right, you have there's no middle ground. All right. I'd go for the clean race. Yeah, go for the clean race. But I'm just saying, I don't mean total you. Just make it something like a wheel falls off or something like that. we can't fix with the 2 spanners that we've got.
He loves that number. Right slap bang in the middle.
Not too good, but not too bad. Just right. Just right.
Yeah.
Someone's got to be 16th, mate.
I find it better actually when you're...
And fresh from yet another team talk, I am on the grid with the red lights on, and they're off, and we are away racing at Silverstone International. This is race 2 of the day. Race 1 is there's a video already out on that, so go back and watch that after this one if you want. Anyway, here we go down to Abbey for the first time. This is going to be basically flat out. We've got Graham Rumsey in the car 42 behind us. There's a car already a long way off the circuit doing his own race on the inside there. I think that's Nick Ledoyen in car number 5. And then on the inside, we're going to go up the inside of Jamie Turner in car number 9, down into Village for the first time. And we've got Robert Greensmith, who's very close behind us as well. So we're going to do defending and attacking here. I regret telling Robert that I was not so good at this corner, because he's going to have a go anyway, and there's wheels locking all over the place. I've managed to keep it around the outside, and I'm not being forced into the tyre barrier, so thank you very much to the drivers around me for that. And we are keeping that position down the Hangar Straight for the first time, which is a long way in an MX-5. You're bouncing off the limiter in 4th gear, or switching up into 5th for a brief moment of time. But here we are anyway, down into Stowe, missing the apex, getting a bit out of shape, and Graham Rumsey's going to take full advantage of that, having to leave into the runoff area, but Graham Rumsey taking advantage of that and gaining the place. Now down into Club, lots of cars, heavy braking zone, and all making it through cleanly for the first time. The car's moving around a bit, and the cars behind us squabbling for position, which is actually giving us a bit of a breathing space behind us. Up ahead, I think Graham is pretty keen to get past Jamie Turner in car number 9, and he goes to the inside, down into Abbey. This is almost flat out, pretty much is flat out in most laps. Jamie dabs the brakes, then the back loses it a little bit, loses momentum, which means I'm now on his tail down into Village, but currently not close enough to try and make a pass. As we now go down through Village, the cars are pretty close together still. This is only lap 2, so second time through the link section, which takes you onto the Hangar Straight for the second time. Hopefully we're going to get a bit of a slipstream. There are a lot of cars ahead of us. The slipstream wasn't too powerful in race 1, but I think we're looking like this time round. The slipstream is getting me closer and closer and closer, going up into 5th gear, trying to get a bit of extra speed out for the last bit of the straight. Jamie almost going defensive, and actually I'm switching back down into 4th for this corner to Stowe, and actually going wide again, losing the apex massively. And I think that's Nick Ledoyen recovering in the black number 5, going through, and we're going to go. Oh, are we going to hold it? Maybe we're going to hold the position through Club. We're side by side, but no. Nick makes that move stick, and good driving all round not to smash into each other. And we're back on the Hamilton Straight, going down now into Abbey. There is a bit of a gap between a car in front and a car behind, but it looks like Graham Rumsey there is closing at quite some rate. There's a car off on the grass, so this is about to get a bit tasty. There's going to be a car in front and a car behind, so it looks as though we've got... Actually, no, it's not. It's Neil Chisnall in car 67 behind us. He's making a recovery drive. You saw him in the gravel, I think, in the last race. And ahead of us, you've got Jamie Turner in car number 9. We've been battling with him throughout the race. It looks as though Neil's got a good run down the Hangar Straight. and it's probably going to be an easy pass. I've moved over to cover that inside line, but Neil just moved one car length further over, and said thank you very much, I'll take that position, and braking at roughly the same time, so we're side by side at the start of the corner, but no losing out through Stowe. There's no sort of switchback manoeuvre really possible at that point. So we're going to skip forward now. You can see Neil's losing, gone off the road a bit there, and he's going to come back on, and we're going to be side by side through the link section onto the Hangar Straight, and breezes past it. So Neil's going to have to find his way back through, probably giving it another go through through Stowe, where I have been a pretty poor driver through Stowe. So this is probably one of the lessons from looking at these videos, is to let's give Stowe a bit more attention next time. So much faster, picking up the toe down the Hangar Straight, and he's actually just going to breeze straight through. Potentially, I've left too much room really at Stowe, and I'm going to go wide out onto the runoff area, and Neil Chisnell finds his way through again. I'm going to go and try and take the inside line, but no, actually thinking better of it and going sensibly to take the racing line through Club, because that gives you the drive all the way through now to Village basically. So we're going down the Hamilton Straight. It looks as though Jamie Turner's had a poor run off Club, which means he's going to be vulnerable now down into Abbey. Abbey's a difficult place to pass sometimes because there is very little braking really, so we're going to be side by side. No, he closes the door there, and we're going to be going behind him now through Farm and into Village. So we've got a good outside line here into Village, down to third gear. Following him around through the corner, he's gone a bit wide. Potentially that's going to give us a bit of an opportunity down into the link section, and then down into Chapel and the Hangar Straight. So here we go, bit of a tack slapper on the exit, but caught it nicely, and we're going to be actually picking up the toe, I think, and you can see we're actually closing. You can play the Jaws theme 2 music in your own head, and we're going to go down to the inside line for Stowe. This is probably going to be one of the first passes of the weekend. It's first time on this track, and through Jamie, through and getting the place from Jamie Turner there. I think that is, and he's going to come back at us though. We're going to be side by side as we come down to Club, slamming on the anchors, probably a bit too much. There's a bit of a lock. You can see the wheel locked, but actually kept that position, and that is a pass made. I think it's one of the first passes actually through the weekend. So some good confidence inspiring stuff, especially given it's been a tricky weekend so far in terms of losing positions. But it's not over yet. You've got Jamie Turner there in car number 9, and you've got Robert Greensmith there in car number 122. That's in the blue and white car as well. So we're going to have to defend from both of them as we go through Village, nicely braking and keeping the racing line there. Looking in the mirrors to see where they're going to go. Potentially they're going to have a give it a go down the inside, so having a look, making sure there's nothing that looks like they're fighting between themselves, which is actually giving me a bit of a breathing space. Careful to avoid those tyres on the exit as we go down the Hangar Straight again, taking the inside line, knowing how powerful the toe was against Robert last lap. He's got the toe this time. He's going to go to the outside. There's no room. I'm making sure there's no room on the inside of Stowe. I've lost that position too many times, but he brakes later. But does he brake too late? Yeah, he's gone very, very wide, and he loses the position to the other lime green car there. That's car number 70. Michael Pearce, who we were actually racing with in the last race as well. I think he ended up not finishing in that accident. You have to have a look at the video to see what I mean. But yeah, you've got Michael Pearce, and we've gone wide now, out of Club, and that means that he's going to have a decent chance now down the Hamilton Straight. He's got the toe. As I said, it's sometimes a bit of a difficult place to pass. I've gone defensive, which means I might need to dab the legs a little bit because it is a bit of a tighter angle, but can't lose too much here, because then if you slow down too much, you're just going to be taking the position down into Village. So we're going in defensive. Got car down the outside, got Robert Greensmith as well trying to take advantage of the situation, and it looks like he's going to get the position from Michael Pearce. So and Michael's going to come back, and that gives me a bit of a breathing space. And again, I regret telling Robert that I was finding this bit of the track difficult. He's giving it another go down, and you can actually see behind us the two lime green cars now fighting for the position behind 122 Robert Greensmith. So again, going to the inside, trying to get defensive, but actually leaving the door open, thinking that maybe can break later down into Stowe, and yes, that seems to be the case, but actually not really hitting the apex here, and potentially giving Robert a good run down into Club, but currently holding the position, defensive driving here, holding out. That's been a whole lap of pressure. I think there are probably more laps to come. So you can see behind Robert, the two and going wide out of Club. That's not going to help the drive through the Hamilton Straight, and going up into fourth gear. But you can see the two lime green cars of number 17 Michael Pearce and number 9 Jamie Turner, who are fighting behind. It looks like Robert's got a good run, but choosing not to make the move here at Abbey. Again, it sometimes can be a difficult move, but he's choosing to use that speed and maybe having a look at the inside down into Village. He's coming from a long way back. I don't think he's going to make it this time around. Closing the door, but leaving a little bit of room there, and he knows he's got the advantage potentially down on the Hangar Straight, so it might be sensible actually just to wait to get the toe down the Hangar Straight and give it a go down into Stowe. But getting a good exit off the link section and Chapel is going to be absolutely critical. You can see actually that exit has been better than Roberts, and he's a little bit far back this time. He will be gaining, he's got the slipstream, but it will be some time before he gets to the inside, which he is getting to now, and no, tending back up, getting a bit sideways as we go through Stowe, but actually it looks as though Robert's got a bit of an advantage down into Club, and he's going to be side by side. He's got the outside line, I've got the inside line. I've chosen to give him space, which means we're side by side. I've had a bit of a correction, which means I'm round wide, and I'm probably going to be behind him. But are we side by side? We're still side by side, right through the last section of Club, and we're going to be down side by side down the Hamilton Straight. Who's going to go over the line first? It's not the last lap, of course. We've got a few more laps to go of this. Down into Abbey for this time, and actually Robert backing out of that move down the inside there. But actually choosing to use the slipstream. Potentially he's going to use it again down the Hangar Straight, or maybe he's even going to go for Tsuno. He's going to give it a go. He's down on the inside, down into Village, and he's through down the inside. Potentially I can do the switchback. He's gone a bit wide. He's gone almost off the circuit there down at Village, but he's kept it together. And potentially going to go down the inside here in the link section, being side by side, but no, backing out. I'm going to settle in now because I know that I'm going to get the toe, but actually I've got to defend as well. Michael Pearce in that lime green car is also basically much alongside right now. He's not getting the toe. He might be getting the distant toe from Robert Greensmith there, but he's basically alongside. We're going to lose two positions in the space of sort of 2 or 3 corners, so not a good sequence of corners. Not going to, I'm way too far back to get a move down at Stowe, and actually finally hitting the apex. I think if you've been watching this all the way through, that's probably the first time I've actually hit the apex at Stowe. I've been just understeering out wide, and that's been a poor corner for me. Down into Club now. We've got the 2 cars ahead of us. They'll be down fighting, and we will be able to get back onto the back of them. So it is now basically a 3-way fight for this position. And we are going down the Hamilton Straight. There is a back marker that's getting out of the way. They go a lap down. And Michael Pearce and Robert Greensmith are side by side down into Abbey. And it looks as though Michael Pearce has won out there. He's got the position. As I say, it's a 3-way fight. There's potentially now, they're both slow. They're both slow through Abbey, which means I've got a good chance down into Village. I've potentially got one position here. Michael's going to go all the way around the outside, but not making that. He's going to then try and switch back. Robert goes actually perfect line through Village, so we've got this middle position sewn up. But now we're going to have to go through the Hangar Straight. If I can get close enough, we'll get the toe. Not a bad exit out of Chapel. So we are now going to be following Robert. He has gone defensive already. He knows the toe's there. He's trying to break it, going from side to side. Not excessively, of course. And we have got the toe. We're going to go down the inside, down into Stowe. This is the last lap of the race, so getting through at Stowe will be potentially getting this position for the whole of the race. Robert has not given up though. He thinks he can get back round the outside of Club. This is going to be very much the last 2 corners of the race. I've got to defend it. Michael Pearce is there to pick up any pieces as well, so carefully threading my way through Club, just making it making absolutely sure, and that is going to be position 17 for the 264 car, and that is pretty much where we started. But I think you'll probably agree it was slightly more exciting than just watching a car go around and finishing where it started. But thank you all for watching, and there is a little bit of extra content right after I stop speaking now.
So when you're done, Will, and you're finished, we'll walk over and meet you at the wagon.
Well, yeah. Well,
And then you're going to come out there and just meet us over there, yeah?
yeah, as long as the car still runs, yeah.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Well, if it gets dark and you've not come over yet, and everyone else has gone,
Yeah.
we'll come looking for you. The GoPro's got our moaning on camera at least.
Yeah.
Ranting away.
First race of the season. Picture already.
Yeah.
Have a good one, Will.